This is Money Made Simple, the financial podcast that keeps it simple and gets to the point.
Kia ora and welcome back to Money Made Simple, brought to you by Simplicity. Also welcome to February, our first recording of 2026.
Oh, great.
Yes, our third year that I think that we're recording this podcast. And actually, let's do a little recap on last year, given that this is our first little session.
That's a good idea.
So in 2025, we reached 100,000 downloads of the podcast. So
Wow,
thank you to everyone that listens and watches. We did a massive giveaway, thanks to our social team, to celebrate, which was a really good prize, wasn't it?
It was an amazing prize.
Yeah, we weren't allowed to be part
Enter.
of. Yeah. No. Simplicity got over 180,000 members across our KiwiSaver and investment funds.
Which is huge.
Yep, little side note, if you want to help us get to 200,000, because that feels like a really big milestone that we could achieve this year, please share the love. That's the best way that we grow.
That's great. And actually, another big number that we reached last year was $10 billion in funds under management.
Yes.
And that might sound like, oh, yay us. But actually, to me, that's super amazing because that is a $10 billion of money that Kiwis have saved for their retirement or their first home or whatever they're investing for.
Yeah,
it's
nice.
It's a big number. Yeah.
And because of that allowed us to get to $12 million total in charitable donations, which is lovely. And that, again, is enabled by our members because we give 15% of our fees to charity.
So some great numbers.
What a great way to start. Yeah. So what's the topic today?
We are going to do, we're going to kind of follow a bit of a trend that you might be seeing out there on the social world on Instagram and TikTok and do ins and outs for 2026.
For finances, right?
Oh, not like fashion and makeup. Oh, yeah, no, finances. Yes.
So apparently, according to those much more in the know than us, it's everywhere on Instagram and TikTok at the moment. It might have passed by the time this goes to air. But our take on this trend is that it's not about perfection or restriction, but it's about realistic money habits for real people.
Yep. That sounds good.
Yeah. Just also want to acknowledge quickly that we know that the cost of living is a real focus, and it still is. It's probably been, 2 or more years now. So this isn't about guilt or hustle culture. So we're not going to be like, get a new side hustle for the year. It's more about what we think everyone can consider, no matter what stage they are, to nail their financial habits just that little bit more. Kind of given that it's that time of year, so early in the year, it's like when you feel a bit motivated, you feel like you can start afresh. So we'll go through our financial ins first, then our financial outs, maybe sneak in a couple of non-financial ones.
Okay, cool.
Cool.
So should we start with ins?
Yep.
And we had so many ideas when we were talking through this, but we think that basically these ideas fall into 3 buckets or sections. Mm-hmm. And the first one is streamlining.
Okay, cool. So number 1 for streamlining would be, this is a favourite, I feel like we talk about this all the time, but it's a great opportunity to, again, is utilising auto payments. So this is kind of making it your finances as simple for yourself as you can, removes that decision fatigue and the reminders that you have to set yourself to do stuff. So automated is just a lot easier for you to stick to. So it's great for savings, for bill payments, for investing, obviously our fave. Yeah.
Setting forgetting doesn't mean forgetting, actually. It doesn't mean don't ever think about it again. So while you can set up these automatic payments, and that's a great thing to do, also just remember maybe quarterly or even annually to review those payments and just check that everything is set in the right way.
Review your accounts, make sure that you're with the right providers, make sure they're the right fund for KiwiSaver, all of that stuff. So it can be all automated, but just with a little check-in.
And I think this is really good for people like me. Life can get pretty hectic and there's a lot of things to think about. And if you can take some of those things out of the picture, they're set up, they're happening, you don't have to worry about them, then that's a great thing to do at the beginning of the year.
Exactly. Number 2, another streamlining one, and it's around keeping things simple. And so that is reining in spending on stuff you don't need. So cancelling unused subscriptions, kind of not paying for things that you're not going to use.
It can take a little bit of admin to go through and work out what that is. But it's just draining any disposable
income for no reason.
Yeah, for no reason. Yeah.
Yeah. So think about if you have unused gym or other kind of studio memberships, extra streaming platforms that you don't actually use, premium app versions, like if you're not using Spotify much and you're paying for premium. So it's about optimization, not deprivation. So if you do use whatever that platform or service is and you love it, don't get rid of it.
Oh yeah, no judgment here. It's just the stuff that you're not utilising.
Yeah. And like with the previous in, do maybe a quarterly audit, check in and make sure that you're getting rid of the fat.
Yeah.
Cool.
Okay, so those two are sort of streamlining your life a little bit, getting rid of the unnecessary spending and automating as much as you can. The next one is mindset. And the key point we want to make under this one is to celebrate the small wins.
Yeah.
So you don't
celebrate all the wins, the big ones too. But also
of course, yes. But don't focus on what you're not doing. If you start celebrating the wins, you're going to feel much more motivated, and working towards those bigger goals actually becomes a bit more achievable and can really build momentum. I think it's really important at the moment where finances are really tight and we're all worried about the cost of living to take those moments to celebrate. Maybe you've reached your rainy day fund goal.
Yep,
that's
maybe
awesome.
You've paid off that credit card that was in arrears.
Yes.
Or you've opened an investment account. Yeah.
Be proud of yourself. Check that off the list.
Yeah. Maybe like treat yourself, not with, a big blowout, but like say, get yourself a pain session or a sweet treat and bask in all those feels.
Yeah. I think this a mindset one's really important one for me because I think I give myself a real hard time on this podcast as well. I'm like, the resident financial hot mess. But that's not a particularly helpful way
mindset.
for me to improve my finances. So I might work on celebrating some small wins.
And knowing that you're no longer a financial hot mess.
Yeah, I'm less of a financial hot mess for sure.
Finally, moving on to know-how, as in our third type of in, so knowledge. This is always going to come up for us, is know what KiwiSaver fees you're paying. So simplicity, favourite topic. Fees in your investments can and do have a much bigger impact than a lot of people imagine. They often sound small, 1% being an average-ish KiwiSaver fee in the market versus 0.25 or 0.24% our fees. But over the long run, everything else equal, they can equate to a difference of thousands or more in your savings balances.
So important to know what fees you're paying, and there's some great resources out there to help you do that, like our old faves sorted.org.nz, where you can compare the fees you're paying to all the other providers.
Yeah. And if you think about it, a 0.25% fee, like I mentioned, versus a 1% fee, 0.25% is a quarter of that 1% fee, even though they both sound really small. Caveat here, make sure that you know your fees, but also if there's value add for that larger fee, if you are paying it, are there potentially better returns, better service?
Maybe you can get some free financial advice through that provider there. Yeah.
Maybe you want to pay for a highly ethical fund.
Absolutely. Yeah. So it's not to say necessarily that higher fees are awful, not worth it. They may be to you depending on what you're getting for that fee.
Exactly. Fees should never be viewed in isolation, but they are really important.
Definitely a factor that you can control.
Yeah. Cool.
The next one around know-how is spending more consciously. This could be a value-based spending. That's another way to think about it. But it's really thinking about spending on things that matter to you and not spending frivolously. It's not about not spending money at all.
Or cutting the joy.
But it's about intentional, thoughtful spending where it really counts. So what fills your cup?
Like coffee. See what
literally fills your cup. Yeah. Yes.
And
me, travel.
Yeah, for me, it would be travel. It might be the weekend brunch. It might be gaming, like my husband. So what do you spend on that doesn't bring you joy or doesn't really matter? Can that be reduced? And then if it does matter and you've identified that it's something that fills your cup, then enjoy it and keep it within your budget, kind of thing. Yeah.
I think it's really easy, and again, going back to that hectic, busy life, you can kind of spend without thinking. You throw money at things that give you very, very temporary happy feelings.
Dopamine hits.
Yeah. If you stop and think, then not only are you likely to spend less money, but the money that you do spend will bring you more joy.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And I think it can also help reduce that guilt around spending if it is your coffee habit, knowing that it brings you joy and aligns with your ideal lifestyle.
Yeah, and the goals that you've set yourself.
Exactly. Yeah. How about why don't we just finish this off with some personal ins, a personal in for you?
I reckon mine is around mindset. I think I talk about money a lot, and we do this podcast obviously, but I still don't think of myself as someone who has her own financial life sorted. But I'm going to just start to be a bit more positive and think I'm getting my financial life sorted.
Exactly. You're on the journey.
Yeah. improved mindset. That's mine.
Mine's not financial. It's that I want to do more domestic travel this year. So I do lots of...
I want to change mine to something better.
You can think of one while I'm talking.
Okay.
So I want to do more weekends away in lots of areas of New Zealand that we haven't discovered yet. My husband's from Wales, so there's loads of places that I feel like we should have gone, but we kind of prioritise international. So
okay. Yeah, mine would probably then be along the same lines.
You're just going to copy me.
Yeah, I
Okay,
am.
cool.
So I'm just going to straight copy you. More adventures with the kids.
Nice.
We do a lot of work on our doer-upper house.
You really do, yes.
And I'd like to just park that every second weekend at least and go and do something fun.
Let's move on to our financial outs. So habits to kick in the butt and level up in 2026.
Okay, again, I've kind of put these into bucket-like sections. And the first one is let's kick out the feeling that you need to optimize things.
Perfection.
Rather than just getting started.
Yep.
So look, like seeking perfection over progress.
Yep. And so the two things under here would be thinking that you don't know enough to start investing and thinking that you don't have enough to start investing. So similar but different. So under the know enough, I think our main point would be waiting to have the most knowledge and understand everything about all of the different investments out there just loses you time in the market and the potential to earn returns.
Yes. And you can do the learning while you're investing.
Exactly.
You can get started and then improve your knowledge and understanding as you go.
And you might make mistakes. You might have small wins and you'll learn from that and get more and more confident as you see your money grow.
Yep. So that's the first one. You don't need to know everything.
Yep. And then also you don't need to have lots of money to start investing. So starting small, favourite lesson obviously for us and throughout this podcast. But getting started, even if it's with $5 or $10 or $100, helps you build that habit.
Yeah. I mean, over time, and it's reasonably recently, but the barriers have come down for being able to invest. So it's quite an outdated concept that you need to have a chunk of money set aside before you can start investing.
There are many platforms and fund managers, including us, that allow you to get started with $5 or less. So again, time in the market, so as much time to have your money invested is key, which gives your money more time to compound, those returns to compound. Yeah.
Okay, so you don't need to know it all and you don't need to have lots of money saved to get started.
Yep.
The next one that's out, and this is slightly related to the thing that's in, which is intentional spending, is feeling guilty about buying coffees or avocado toast on a Sunday morning
for us millennials.
For you millennials.
Yeah, so guilt and good money management do not go well hand in hand. Shame around what you're doing, what you're spending, rarely actually leads to better money habits.
Yes, exactly. And when you think about the bigger picture in terms of building a financial future, the $20 that you might choose to spend on coffee every week isn't really the issue. If there is an issue, it's much more around planning and goal setting and being clear about what you want to do with your finances than
understanding
having
your,
a coffee
your
habit.
income and outgoings. Sustainable finances can and should include enjoyment. So especially those small daily treats that really make life a little bit easier to handle if you've got a stressful job and you can go for a coffee break.
Yeah, so have a budget line.
Yes.
That is for those things that you enjoy. So we're always going on about the impact of your decisions today on your future. Yeah. But I think it is really important to remember that today counts as well and that you should actually enjoy your life. So that's 100%. The key kind of point is don't feel guilty about the things that you do choose to spend your money on.
Just be intentional.
Cool.
And
then enjoy them.
Cool. Next out is putting financial admin off until later. And this might be something that Jennie has in the past or currently can relate to.
Yes, I can very much relate to this because I find financial admin boring and a bit stressful, and I always think it's going to be harder than it is. But I know that the things that I have put off in the past and continue to put off not only cause me stress, but they also often cost me money because I will end up paying interest on a credit card that's not been paid off, or I pay penalty fines for a parking ticket that I haven't paid, those kind of
or
things.
Paying higher fees for something that you don't need to pay as high fees on.
Absolutely. If I think I really need to change my such and such provider so that I stop paying these fees, but I leave that for another year
or not getting started and missing out on compounding returns. So often it's a lot more costly to not do that admin than if you just bit the bullet.
But it is also a mental burden
Yes.
on you when you know you should be
Yes.
doing things that you haven't done.
Yes. So it's often really annoying and hard, as you say, but it's rarely difficult, like actually really challenging. So
Except sometimes tax returns.
Yes.
I've put a few of those off over the years and they are tricky.
yes, but most things like setting up an investment account, changing your fund, getting your...
Paying a parking fine.
Yes, exactly. They
Setting up an automatic payment for your credit card.
often they'll take less than 15 minutes and they'll feel so much better once you've actually done it right, that
Yes.
load off your shoulders.
So we would say that is out, putting that financial admin off. Instead, write a list of the things that you've got to do and just check them off one at a time.
Exactly.
And then reward yourself with that lovely little coffee that you've budgeted for at the
I love
end.
that. Bring it
Yeah.
back. Yeah. Finally, our final out would be comparing your money journey to others. So especially on people on socials.
Yeah, I feel like it used to be keeping up with the Joneses, and that was very local. So you were looking at the family next door and the life that they were living. We are now exposed to people all over the world, living all sorts of different lives. It's really easy to start comparing yourself, but you're not comparing apples with apples.
Social media, as we all know, is a highlight reel often. It often distorts reality and will show you the best of the best and none of the worst. So what a way to make you feel crap, right, if you're comparing yourself?
Yeah, and often even when people share their mistakes or their challenges, it's usually in the context of, oh, I did this, but now look at me.
Yeah, look how amazing I was.
Yeah, which is also not that realistic.
Yes.
So yeah, if you can avoid comparing yourself, there's lots to be learnt from people on social that are sharing their financial journeys in a really authentic way. They want to help educate people. They're sharing their wins and their losses, and that's great. But just don't get caught in a trap of thinking everyone's having long summer holidays in the Maldives.
Yes. I also think that comparing yourself to others and following what they do can lead to making risky decisions or not making decisions at all. So on two different ends of the spectrum. So you might copy someone else that invested in crypto because they made huge gains, or you might just
you may have missed
exactly
the period where the
past
gains will be.
performances-
Yes.
Past performance is no indicator of future performance. Same thing if you see all of these people making money in these different ways and you don't know what to do, decision paralysis. So better to focus on your own goals, your own time horizons, your progress. So, celebrating those small wins. That will end up, kind of helping you level up better than trying to do what other people are doing.
Yeah, and I wonder if you kind of curate the people that you do choose to follow carefully. People that have a similar point of view on the world or that actually make you feel good and are helping you learn, and cut the rest loose.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. Any
Okay.
any financial or other outs for you personally?
You start and then I'll copy you.
So I have one financial and one non-financial. My big one financially is overcommitting. I need to stop doing that because I think tends to lead me towards burnout when I do kind of too many side hustles, too much work, too much socializing. Not good for then like simplifying and streamlining.
Yeah.
And my other one is doom scrolling Instagram at bedtime.
Oh,
I've really got to stop. Like it leads me to less sleep, probably more burnout. And I don't think it's ever productive whatsoever.
no.
Yeah. Doesn't help me all my life.
I occasionally save a recipe and then never look at it ever again.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So no more doom scrolling.
Okay. Mine would be to get onto that financial admin because I still
Pay that parking ticket.
Yeah, I am bad at that. Even if I just set myself one little task a day and try and do that. And personally,
You're too perfect.
I think I am quite perfect.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's wrap it up there. That's it for our 2026 ins and outs. Little tweaks, hopefully, that you can make to get into better habits, I think. Not a total overhaul of your finances. It doesn't need to be a total fresh start, but just take a couple of little steps.
Yeah, and if
Optimise.
you have any personal ins and outs of your own, you're like 2026, I'm doing this and I'm not doing that, then please do get in touch and share them with us.
Yeah, and we might send you a little something for
Oh, we'd
the
love
pleasure.
to send you a little something.
Cool.
Okay.
We'll catch you next time. Thanks for tuning in.
Ka kite.
This podcast contains personal opinions and is intended to provide educational information only. It doesn't relate to your particular financial situation or goals and is not financial advice or recommendations. Simplicity New Zealand Limited is the issuer of the Simplicity KiwiSaver scheme and investment funds. For product disclosure statements, please visit Simplicity's website simplicity.kiwi.